You think your mind is a fortress. You think you are in control of your own body. You believe that if you saw someone jumping off a cliff, you would not follow them. You are wrong. There is a glitch in the human operating system so dangerous that it can kill you without a single weapon being touched. It acts like a virus, but it's not biological. It's psychological. It spreads through sight, spreads through fear. And once it enters your mind, it can force your body to destroy itself. Welcome to the anatomy of mass hysteria. To understand this phenomenon, we must look at the dark twin of the placebo effect. Everyone knows the placebo effect. If you believe a sugar pill is medicine, you get better. But few people talk about the nocebo effect. If you believe you are sick, you will develop real physical symptoms. Your skin will blister. Your heart will stop. This happens because your brain doesn't know the difference between perception and reality. If the brain is convinced of a threat, it releases cortisol and adrenaline until the organs fail. But this gets terrifying when you add the social element. Human beings are equipped with mirror neurons. When you see someone smile, you smile. When you see someone yawn, you yawn. This is empathy. It's how we bond. But under extreme stress, this mechanism malfunctions. It becomes a feedback loop of insanity. If you see someone screaming in terror, your mirror neurons fire the same terror signal. If you see 10 people screaming, your brain assumes there is a mortal threat. It overrides your logic. It hijacks your motor functions. You become part of the hive mind. There is no grimmer example of this than the events of July 1518. Strasbourg, the Holy Roman Empire. It began with one woman, Frau Trophia. It was a hot summer day. The city was suffering. Famine had ravaged the land. Smallpox was killing children. The people were starving, terrified, and hopeless. Their cortisol levels were through the roof. They were a powder keg waiting for a spark. Frau Trophia walked into a narrow street and she began to dance. There was no music. There was no celebration. She just danced. She twirled and stamped her feet in a strange, rhythmic spasm. Her face was not happy. It was blank, dead. She danced for hours. Her husband begged her to stop. She could not. She danced until her feet bled. She danced until she collapsed from exhaustion, and when she woke up, she started again. By the end of the week, 34 people had joined her. By the end of the month, there were 400. This was not a flash mob. This was a horror movie. Imagine 400 people in the town square, screaming in pain, begging for mercy, but unable to stop their legs from moving. Their shoes disintegrated. Their feet were raw meat. They were hallucinating. They claimed they saw demons forcing them to dance. They were victims of mass psychogenic illness. The stress of the famine had broken their minds. The sight of Frau Trophia dancing provided a physical outlet for that stress. Their mirror neurons locked onto the behavior and copied it. The city council made a fatal error. They consulted doctors who said the victims had overheated blood. The cure they suggested? More dancing. They thought if the victims could just dance it out, they would recover. So the authorities did the worst thing possible. They built a wooden stage. They hired professional musicians. They hired strong men to hold the dancers up so they could keep moving. This was gasoline on the fire. By legitimizing the delusion, they reinforced it. The music provided a rhythm for the madness. The stage gave it a platform. People watching the spectacle were infected by the sight. The death toll began. Heart attacks, strokes, heat exhaustion. People were literally dancing themselves to death in the middle of the street while the band played on. It only ended when the survivors were forcibly taken to a shrine and their red shoes were cut off their feet. The dancing plague is not just a history lesson. It's a warning about the fragility of the human mind. You might think this happened 500 years ago. We are smarter now, are we? Look at the TikTok challenges where kids choke themselves to unconsciousness. Look at the panic buying during the pandemic where rational adults fought over toilet paper because they saw others doing it. Look at the stock market crashes caused by pure emotional contagion. The mechanism has not changed. Only the soundtrack has. We live in an era of digital contagion. A fear can start in New York and infect a mind in Tokyo within seconds. We are constantly bombarded by the stress of the world. We are all standing in the town square watching Frau Trophia dance on our screens. Why do you immunize yourself against a psychological virus? How do you stop your mirror neurons from dragging you off the cliff? You need the mental quarantine protocol. Rule number 1. Disconnect the input. The virus enters through the eyes. When you see a panic forming, whether it's a stampede in a crowd or a crash in the market, your instinct is to stare. You must look away. Physically remove yourself from the visual stimulus. If you stay and watch, your brain will subconsciously begin to mimic the anxiety level of the herd. Cannot remain rational in an irrational room. Leave the room. Rule number 2. Label the delusion. Mass hysteria works because the victims believe the threat is external. They thought demons were making them dance. You must internalize the cause. Tell yourself this is not real. This is a biological feedback loop. By naming the mechanism, you engage your prefrontal cortex. You move the activity from the emotional brain to the logical brain. Logic is the antidote to hysteria. Rule number 3. Break the rhythm. The dancers died because the city hired musicians to keep the beat. In your life, the rhythm is the algorithm. It is the news cycle. It is the gossip in your office. You must disrupt the pattern. Do something completely unrelated to the crisis. Wash your face with cold water. Solve a math problem. Call a friend who is outside the panic zone. You need a hard reset to snap your mirror neurons out of the lockstep. The dancing plague taught us that human beings are not individuals. We are a network. And if the network gets corrupted, we all fall. Frau Trophia did not want to die. She just wanted to escape her pain. And in doing so, she created a trap that consumed a city. But there is a force even stronger than fear. There is a way to use this same mechanism, this same power of suggestion, to heal yourself instead of destroy yourself. The mind can kill, but it can also cure. There is a strange phenomenon where people with terminal illnesses suddenly recover after taking a sugar pill. If you want to know how to hack your biology to heal your own body, you need to understand the light side of this dark coin. Click the video on the screen. You're going to the pharmacy of the mind.